After you click into your new Google Ads account, we need to create some campaigns and keywords. So click on the Campaigns tab on the left-hand menu, then on the Create New Campaign button. We have the choice here to create a new campaign or load some settings. Let's create a new campaign. At this point, we're presented with a number of options. We can choose whether we want to create a search, display, shopping, video, or an app campaign. We're going to create a search campaign. We're then presented with what kind of objective we want to run the campaign under. Is it going to be sales, is it going to be leads, or is it going to be traffic? So let's go with it being sales. And the way we would like to achieve our goal is obviously by driving people to the website where they will buy. You can of course choose to drive people to your call center or to download your app, but we're going to choose website visits. Then we can choose to enter our website in here if we want. We don't have to, so we can just click continue. And then we're presented with the setup options here. As we can see, our goal is sales. We now have to create a campaign name for our campaign. After we enter our name, we have to choose whether we want it on the search network and the display network as well. We recommend you don't mix search and display campaigns together because you will get mixed results. Simply uncheck this. And with our search partners, these are not necessarily Google itself, but other websites that use Google's search algorithm to display search results. We can include this if we choose. Most of the time, we're better off including it. Then we move down to our targeting and our audiences. So we'll begin with our location targeting, which we'll choose in as Ireland because that's where I am right now. What languages we want our users to speak, and we can choose English there or subsequent languages to the left. Then if we want to add some audiences to our campaign, so we might want to add some audiences around their purchase intent history. So certain audiences are captured by Google because Google thinks that based on their search history they are about to make a purchase. These are called in-market audiences, and we can add them. And then likewise we can use remarketing lists that we may have set up. So visitors to our website who have been there before, we can target these guys in this campaign and set a budget for people who've been on our website before, because we want that traffic back, because we know that returning visitors tend to spend a lot more and tend to purchase a lot more. So let's have a look at the in-market audiences. We don't have to add these, by the way. These are just options. You don't have to add remarketing lists or audiences. But if you are, like we are, a retail organization, we might go down to telecom and expand this and see, is there anything in the telecom area that we are interested in? So we're bidding on phone cases. So yeah, let's add an audience in around mobile phone services. We're then doing that for either targeting or observation. Observation means that we simply report on the number of people who have visited our website or clicked our ads who are in that audience target. And then targeting means that our campaign will actually target only those people. So remember, all of this audience targeting is optional. You don't need to do it to set up a Google Ads campaign. Next up, we need to set our budget. So how much we want to spend a day, maybe €5 per day. We have the option to change our delivery method from standard to accelerated. We're better off leaving it on standard. Next up, we set our bidding options here. We're automatically tied into maximize clicks, which is a basic bidding option. It basically lets Google decide what you're going to pay, and it will spend your budget to drive as many clicks as it possibly can within a day. It's an entry-level bidding strategy. For the most part, we're better off using manual CPC to begin. So that's where we set the bids that we're willing to pay for a click. So at this point, we can select a different bid strategy and use a portfolio strategy. So we can then change this to target CPA, target ROAS, maximize clicks, maximize conversions, target what part of the search results page, whether it's the top or wherever, target your competitors, enhanced CPC or manual CPC. Let's click on manual CPC. Then we can choose at this point to add site links or callouts, but let's do that later on. So save and continue. We're then prompted to create an ad group or a list of keywords. So what we'll do is we'll enter some of the keywords that we got from the keyword planner and name our ad group something intuitive. So we've named our ad group iPhone cases. Our bid is going to be, let's say, 15 cents. And then we've added these keywords: iPhone case, best iPhone case, buy iPhone case, and cheapest iPhone case. You'll notice these brackets here. These brackets indicate exact match. Exact match means that the user, the searcher, has to type pretty much exactly this into Google for our keyword to fire. We are allowed some minor misspellings and some variations around that for exact match. The other match types we have down here are, if you have quotation marks either side of the keyword, that's called phrase match. That means that if there's a word before or a word after iPhone case, our keyword will fire. And then there's also modified broad match, which is a flexible version of phrase match. And we have that with pluses. We'll go into match types in a little bit more detail later. For the moment, let's begin on exact match because it's the most focused match type and also the most cost-effective match type. So we'll save and continue. We're then prompted to create a new ad. In our ad, we have to create our landing page, our first headline, our second headline, our third headline for a responsive ad, and then our URL path 1, path 2, description 1, and description 2 for responsive ad. Just to explain what responsive ads are, you have a mix of headlines and a mix of descriptions, and Google will use machine learning to decide which is the best one, which is the best combination to display to the searcher at that time. So let's enter some details here. Now we've entered our final URL, that's our landing page. We've entered our first headline, second headline, third headline. There may be more headlines in different ad variations, description 1 and description 2. We can then see different previews of the ad itself. So these are combined descriptions and 2 of our headlines. And then this are 3 of our headlines and our combined descriptions. So we're able to test different items within the ad itself. We have our paths here, so this is an opportunity to put in some additional keywords into your ad itself. As you can see, we have our destination URL, then we have our first path and our second path. Think what keywords could go in here. It's quite useful. And think of the psychology around searchers and how they understand websites. So special offer and this type of language, it doesn't have to be proper grammar in the sense that it can be just understood in terms of a website. And then we have a lot of copy to play with here. We can see what it looks like on mobile, and by pressing this arrow we can see what it looks like on desktop. On the right hand side here we've got different character limits. These character limits are always changing, so it gives you the flexibility to move and adapt and change your style and how much you want to include in an ad as the new formats become available. When we're happy with that, we click done and we save and continue. We're then given an estimate of how much it would cost based on what we've already input. So we can continue to our campaign and then we're good to go. If we need to change bids, we can do that here on an ad group level, or go into the keywords and do that on a keyword level. So we have our keyword list here. These are all our iPhone keywords in the iPhone ad group. If we want to add another ad group, we can press this button. And that brings us back to this area here where we can start the process again with a new list of keywords. Just as before, we enter our ad group name, which is the theme of our keywords. the bid we want to bid for these keywords, and the keywords themselves. So the last list of keywords was all relating to iPhone, and these are all related to Android. So we can still target phone users, but we're targeting them separately because the next stage means that we'll write an ad for Android phone covers. So we're brought up our last ad, and it's very easy for us to just adapt that by just replacing iPhone with Android. And very quickly we've got two different lists of keywords, one for Android and one for iPhone, and two separate ads, so we'll save that. After we save, we can see that we're brought to our campaign, which originally was iPhone cases, and we've got Android cases and iPhone cases. So this is no longer an iPhone campaign, so let's just rename that. So we can go back to campaign level and we'll call it mobile phone cases, and we'll save that. So this is our mobile phone cases campaign. Within this campaign we've got two lists of keywords, one for Android and one for iPhone. We then may want to create more ad groups for specific phone types, Galaxy phones or other Android makers, also different iPhone types. This allows us to have different keyword lists because ad groups are lists of keywords with ads relating to those keywords, and we can have different keyword lists all along the way, different bids, and we can control it all from our mobile phone campaign. If we want to look at the ads that we wrote, we can click on ads and extensions. So we may want to enhance our ads with some site links or some additional extensions. So up the top we've got another menu here, and we click on extensions. Within here it's very intuitive. We can create site links, we can create call out extensions, we can create call extensions, and if there's other ad extensions we want, we can click in on these, and that gives us a list of all of the different ad extensions we may want to choose from. So let's begin with site links. So site links are clickable links that appear underneath the text and copy of your ad. You should write a minimum of 4 site links. They will contain some copy for the link itself. They will contain a description underneath both links, and then a landing page. So when you fill in these details and save, it will bring you on to the next one. Ideally, you should create a minimum of 4 site links. So we've entered some details, and you can see that there's a lot of characters to play with. So these character limits are changing from time to time, but there is the possibility to just drive more and more knowledge from your consumer with the different inputs that you put in here, and then we hit save. So that's your first extension, and then you can create another one, another site link, etc. And all of those will hopefully serve at different points with your campaign based on the most appropriate to your searcher. So just to review, we've just created a campaign and ad group, entered some keywords, written some ads, and then enhanced our overall experience with these ad extensions. We are able to go back and change our bids. We can add or modify our locations. There are a number of different things we can do in our settings area here. So this is where we find what our objective is, what network we're targeting, country, languages, all of that stuff, and we can change this stuff after the fact. It's good to scroll up and down and understand what are the different levels, and remember, just when you click on the left hand menu, there's sometimes a top menu up here, so you can add some negative keywords for searches you don't want to show for, or see the words that people are typing into Google itself to fire your keywords. So just explore the left hand interface and then the top menu if there are some on the different levels, and that's how you set up a Google Ads campaign.